The National Electrical Code, NEC, has requirements for subpanel placement. Subpanels need to be installed in accessible locations that meet specific criteria. Firstly, there must be at least 30 inches of clear wall space on each side, but there's a minimum of 12 inches required for at least one side. Secondly, there needs to be 6.5 feet of overhead clearance from the floor or any other obstructions. Thirdly, large appliances or equipment cannot be directly beneath the subpanel, for example, air compressors or water heaters. Typically, subpanels aren't placed directly next to the main panel due to these clearance requirements. However, the NEC does allow for exceptions in certain situations. If the subpanel is installed in a separate enclosure, such as an M3R enclosure, the clearance requirements may be reduced. Also, if the subpanel is installed adjacent to the main panel in a way that provides equivalent access, the clearance requirements may be waived. Based on the information given, it seems possible to install the subpanel next to the main panel if certain conditions are met. The subpanel must be enclosed in an M3R or similar enclosure. The enclosure has to be designed to provide sufficient access and ventilation for both panels. Also, there must be at least 6.5 feet of overhead clearance from the enclosure to the garage ceiling. To ensure compliance with code and safety, it is recommended to consult with a qualified electrician to assess the situation and determine the best location for the subpanel. They can also safely install the subpanel and ensure all necessary connections are made correctly. This consultation is crucial to avoid any potential hazards or code violations. The electrician can evaluate the specific layout and ensure that the installation meets all applicable regulations. This includes verifying the proper grounding, bonding, and overcurrent protection for the subpanel. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous if not done correctly, so professional guidance is essential. The electrician will also be able to advise on the appropriate wire sizes, conduit types, and other materials needed for the installation. This will ensure that the subpanel operates safely and efficiently for years to come. In addition to the physical placement of the subpanel, it's important to consider the load calculations and circuit assignments. The electrician can help determine the appropriate size of the subpanel and the number of circuits needed to accommodate the new loads. This will prevent overloading the panel and potentially causing a fire or other electrical hazard. They can also help balance the load across the different circuits to ensure that the subpanel operates efficiently. Furthermore, the electrician can assist with obtaining any necessary permits or inspections required by local authorities. This will ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and regulations. It is important to note that the NEC is updated regularly, so it's crucial to stay informed of the latest changes. A qualified electrician will be familiar with the current code requirements and can ensure that the installation complies with all applicable standards. This includes requirements for arc fault circuit interrupters, ground fault circuit interrupters, and other safety devices. By working with a qualified electrician, you can have peace of mind knowing that the subpanel is installed safely and correctly. This will protect your home and family from potential electrical hazards. The electrician can also provide ongoing maintenance and support to ensure that the subpanel continues to operate safely and efficiently over time. This can include regular inspections, testing, and repairs as needed. Finally, remember that electrical work should always be performed by qualified professionals. It is not recommended to attempt electrical work yourself unless you have the necessary training and experience. Electrical work can be dangerous if not done correctly, and it can also avoid your insurance coverage. So, protect yourself and your family by hiring a qualified electrician to handle all of your electrical needs. Remember that the NEC is a comprehensive set of standards that covers all aspects of electrical installations. It is essential to understand and comply with these standards to ensure safety and prevent electrical hazards. In addition to the specific requirements for subpanel placement, there are many other important considerations, such as grounding, bonding, overcurrent protection, and wiring methods. A qualified electrician will be familiar with all of these requirements and can ensure that the installation complies with all applicable standards. They can also provide valuable advice and guidance on how to safely and efficiently manage your electrical system. This can include tips on energy conservation, surge protection, and other important topics. By working with a qualified electrician, you can ensure that your home's electrical system is safe, reliable, and efficient. This will protect your investment and provide peace of mind for years to come. In addition to the NEC, there may be other local codes and regulations that apply to electrical installations. It is important to check with your local authorities to determine what requirements apply in your area. A qualified electrician will be familiar with these local codes and regulations and can ensure that the installation complies with all applicable standards. They can also help you navigate the permitting process and obtain any necessary approvals. This will ensure that the installation is done legally and safely. Finally, remember that electrical work is not a DIY project. It is essential to hire a qualified electrician to handle all of your electrical needs. Electrical work can be dangerous if not done correctly, and it can also void your insurance coverage. So, protect yourself and your family by hiring a qualified electrician to handle all of your electrical needs. The NEC guidelines for subpanel installation focus on accessibility, safety, and proper ventilation. These guidelines aim to minimize potential hazards and ensure the longevity and efficiency of the electrical system. The 30-inch clear wall space requirement is crucial for providing ample room to work on the panel during maintenance or repairs. This space allows electricians to safely access the components and perform necessary tasks without obstructions. The 6.5 feet overhead clearance requirement prevents accidental contact with live electrical parts. This clearance ensures that individuals working near the panel can stand upright and move freely without bumping into or touching any exposed wiring. The prohibition of large appliances or equipment directly beneath the subpanel minimizes the risk of damage to the panel from heat, moisture, or physical impact. This also ensures that the panel remains easily accessible for maintenance and repairs. The use of an M3R enclosure or similar is recommended for subpanels installed in damp or outdoor locations. These enclosures provide protection from rain, snow, and other environmental factors, preventing corrosion and electrical hazards. Proper ventilation is essential for preventing overheating of the subpanel components. Overheating can lead to premature failure of the components and potentially cause a fire. The electrician can ensure that the enclosure is properly ventilated to allow for adequate airflow. In addition to the physical placement of the subpanel, it's important to consider the wiring methods and overcurrent protection. The electrician will determine the appropriate wire sizes and conduit types based on the load calculations and the ampacity of the conductors. They will also install properly sized circuit breakers or fuses to protect the circuits from overloads and short circuits. Grounding and bonding are critical for ensuring electrical safety. The electrician will properly ground the subpanel and bond all metallic enclosures and equipment to create a low impedance path for fault current. This will help to prevent electrical shock hazards and ensure that the overcurrent protection devices operate correctly. The NEC also requires the use of arc fault circuit interrupters of size in certain circuits to protect against arc faults, which are a common cause of electrical fires. The electrician will determine which circuits require a size and install them accordingly. Similarly, ground fault circuit interrupters, GFCIs, are required in certain locations to protect against ground faults, which can cause electrical shock hazards. The electrician will determine which locations require GFCIs and install them accordingly. Regular inspections and maintenance are essential for ensuring the ongoing safety and reliability of the electrical system. The electrician can perform regular inspections to identify any potential problems and recommend necessary repairs or upgrades. They can also test the operation of the FCIs and GFCIs to ensure that they are functioning properly. Remember, electrical work should always be performed by qualified professionals. It is not recommended to attempt electrical work yourself unless you have the necessary training and experience. Electrical work can be dangerous if not done correctly, and it can also void your insurance coverage. So, protect yourself and your family by hiring a qualified electrician to handle all of your electrical needs. The location of a subpanel is a crucial decision that requires careful consideration of several factors. These include the physical space available, the environmental conditions, and the accessibility requirements. It is important to choose a location that meets all applicable code requirements and provides for safe and efficient operation of the electrical system. A qualified electrician can help you assess your specific needs and determine the best location for your subpanel. They can also ensure that the installation is done safely and correctly, protecting your home and family from potential electrical hazards. The NEC provides detailed guidelines for determining the appropriate size of a subpanel based on the anticipated load. It is important to accurately calculate the load to ensure that the subpanel has sufficient capacity to handle all of the connected circuits. The electrician can help you perform these calculations and select a subpanel that is appropriately sized for your needs. In addition to the size of the subpanel, it's also important to consider the number of circuits needed. The subpanel should have enough circuit breakers or fuses to accommodate all of the circuits that will be connected to it. It is also a good idea to leave some spare capacity for future expansion. The electrician can help you determine the appropriate number of circuits and select a subpanel that meets your needs. The wiring methods used to connect the subpanel to the main panel are also critical for ensuring safety and reliability. The electrician will select the appropriate wire sizes and conduit types based on the ampacity of the conductors and the environmental conditions. They will also ensure that the wiring is properly installed and supported to prevent damage or accidental contact. The grounding and bonding of the subpanel are essential for preventing electrical shock hazards. The electrician will properly ground the subpanel and bond all metallic enclosures and equipment to create a lower impedance path for fault currents. This will help to ensure that the overcurrent protection devices operate correctly and protect against electrical shock. The overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, are designed to protect the circuits from overloads and short circuits. The electrician will select the appropriate size and type of overcurrent protection devices based on the ampacity of the conductors and the characteristics of the load. They will also ensure that the overcurrent protection devices are properly installed and functioning correctly. The NEC also requires the use of surge protection devices to protect sensitive electronic equipment from voltage surges. The electrician can install surge protection devices at the subpanel or at individual circuits to protect against damage from lightning strikes or other electrical disturbances. Regular inspections and maintenance are essential for ensuring the ongoing safety and reliability of the electrical system. The electrician can perform regular inspections to identify any potential problems and recommend necessary repairs or upgrades. They can also test the operation of the surge protection devices to ensure that they are functioning properly. Remember, electrical work should always be performed by qualified professionals. It is not recommended to attempt electrical work yourself unless you have the necessary training and experience. Electrical work can be dangerous if not done correctly, and it can also void your insurance coverage. So, protect yourself and your family by hiring a qualified electrician to handle all of your electrical needs.